The silence in the Galactic Council chamber was deafening as Admiral Krickstahl's four eyes fixated on the holographic display. The massive vessel floating in the projection was unlike anything the galaxy had seen in 3 centuries, sleek, predatory, and unmistakably human in design. "Impossible," whispered Chancellor Vorth, his crystalline features flickering with nervous energy. "The humans were extinct. We made sure of that." Admiral Krickstahl's mandibles clicked anxiously. 300 years ago, the Galactic Coalition had deemed humanity too dangerous to exist. Their rapid technological advancements, their unpredictable nature, and their disturbing tendency to find creative solutions to impossible problems had made them a threat to the established order. The Coalition had acted swiftly and decisively, or so they had believed. The warship in the hologram was massive, easily 10 kilometers in length, bristling with weapons systems that defied current understanding of physics. But what truly terrified the assembled council members was the message it had transmitted upon emerging from what appeared to be a fold in space itself. "This is Captain Sarah Chen of the UES Retribution. We've been away for a long time. We'd like to talk." Dr. Zephyrian, the Council's chief xenobiologist, examined the readings with growing alarm. "The energy signatures are extraordinary. This vessel appears to be powered by controlled temporal distortions. The humans have somehow learned to manipulate time itself. 3 centuries ago, when the Coalition's combined fleets had descended upon Earth, they had expected a quick victory. Humanity was barely reaching beyond their own solar system, their technology primitive compared to species that had been traveling the stars for millennia. But humans had one trait that the galaxy had underestimated: they refused to die quietly. Captain Chen stood on the bridge of the Retribution, watching the swirling chaos of normal space through the observation deck. Behind her, Lieutenant Commander Torres monitored the increasingly frantic communications from the various alien governments throughout the galaxy. "Captain," Torres reported, "we're receiving surrender offers from 14 different species. The Vorthan Empire is offering us 3 star systems if we promise not to attack their homeworld." Chen smiled grimly. The irony wasn't lost on her. 300 years ago, humanity had been the underdog, desperately fighting for survival against impossible odds. Now, a single human vessel had apparently thrown the entire galaxy into panic. "Any response from the Galactic Council?" she asked. "Admiral Krickstahl has requested a meeting. He's offering to negotiate humanity's reintegration into galactic society." Chen laughed, a sound both bitter and amused. "Reintegration? How generous of them, considering they tried to exterminate us." The truth was far more complex than the galaxy could imagine. When the Coalition fleets had arrived at Earth, humanity had indeed been outmatched. But they had also been prepared. Dr. Marcus Webb, Earth's greatest physicist, had been working on theoretical temporal mechanics. As the alien bombardment began, he had made a desperate gamble. Using Earth's entire power grid and the planet's magnetic field as a massive temporal accelerator, Webb had managed to create a time dilation field around a small fleet of human vessels. From their perspective, only 5 years had passed. But in those 5 subjective years, they had experienced the technological advancement equivalent of 3 centuries. While the galaxy believed it had wiped out humanity, the survivors had been living in accelerated time, their greatest minds working around the clock to develop technologies that would ensure their species' survival. They had learned to manipulate quantum fields, to fold space-time, to harness the fundamental forces of the universe in ways that made their former enemies' technology look primitive. Back in the Council chamber, Emergency Session Protocol 7 had been enacted. Representatives from across the galaxy were teleporting in, their faces showing varying degrees of fear and confusion. "What do they want?" demanded General Thax of the Krellan military caste, his scarred exoskeleton gleaming under the chamber's lights. Ambassador Liu Wei, materialized in the center of the chamber, his human form causing several council members to recoil instinctively. He was tall, composed, and carried himself with the confidence of someone who held all the cards. "Honorable representatives," Liu began, his voice carrying easily through the vast chamber, "humanity appreciates your concern about our return. We want you to know that we bear no ill will toward the current generation of galactic citizens." "Current generation?" Chancellor Vorth's voice cracked slightly. "Yes. We understand that those who made the decision to eliminate our species are largely dead now. Time has a way of resolving old grudges." Liu's smile was diplomatic but cold. "However, we do have some requests." The word requests sent ripples of unease through the assembled delegates. Coming from a species that had just demonstrated technology centuries beyond their own, requests sounded suspiciously like demands. "We want full recognition as a sovereign galactic power. We want reparations for the destruction of our homeworld and the attempted genocide of our people. And we want assurance that such actions will never be taken against any species again." Admiral Krickstall found his voice. "And if we refuse?" Leah's expression didn't change, but somehow his presence seemed to fill the room. "We've learned a great deal about efficiency in the past 3 centuries, Admiral. We could take what we want, but we'd prefer cooperation. We've seen what fear and prejudice lead to." He paused meaningfully. "We have no desire to become what you once were." On the Retribution, Captain Chen watched the diplomatic proceedings through a quantum link. Her crew had spent subjective years preparing for this moment, not just technologically, but philosophically. They had debated endlessly about justice, revenge, and the responsibility that came with overwhelming power. "Captain," Taurus reported, "long-range sensors are detecting fleet movements throughout the galaxy. It looks like everyone's mobilizing." Chen nodded. She had expected this. Fear made people do desperate things, and their technology would seem like magic to species still bound by conventional physics. But humanity had learned patience in their accelerated exile. They had time literally on their side. "Send a message to all fleet commanders in the galaxy," Chen ordered. "Tell them we're not interested in conquest, but also tell them that any hostile action against human vessels or interests will result in consequences they cannot imagine." As the message propagated across the galaxy at faster than light speeds, Chen reflected on the strange turn of events. Humanity had returned not as conquerors, but as a force of nature that the galaxy would have to accommodate. They had transcended the cycle of violence that had nearly destroyed them, emerging as something unprecedented, a species with godlike power and the wisdom to use it responsibly. The galaxy wasn't ready for humanity's return, but ready or not, the age of human exile was over. The question now was whether the galaxy could adapt to a new reality, where the species they had tried to eliminate had become the most advanced civilization in known space. In the depths of space, the Retribution continued its slow orbit, a silent reminder that some extinctions, like some species, refused to stay dead.